As believers and entrepreneurs, we can't afford to just wake up and roll into the day anymore. We've got to start every morning realigning our hearts, our businesses, and our goals with God's voice. Because if we don't know where God is leading us, here's the hard truth. We're going to spend our best years climbing ladders that are leaning against the wrong walls. And I don't just mean metaphorically. I'm talking about that relentless hustle, waking up early, grinding late, checking all the boxes, only to get to the top and realize this isn't even the building I wanted to be on. The view doesn't satisfy. The work doesn't matter. The people you did it all for, some of them are gone. Some of them never noticed. And God, He's been waiting the whole time, wondering when you'd ask what He actually had in mind. We have to start with the end in mind. Not just any end, but the one God designed for us. Howard Hughes, billionaire, mogul, icon, ended up locked away in a hotel room, paranoid and miserable. He chased success, but not the kind that fulfills. Stephen Covey said it, begin with the end in mind, but not just any end, the end God prepared for us before we were born. If we don't know our destination, every road will look tempting. Steve Jobs wandered before he created Apple, took random classes, slept on floors. That random calligraphy class ended up shaping the design of the Mac. But the wandering, it was avoidable. Yogi Berra said, if you don't know where you are going, you'll end up someplace else. Without God's map, we lose time. We say yes to the wrong things. We chase noise instead of purpose. Our purpose isn't something we invent. It's something we discover. Mother Teresa didn't brainstorm her destiny. She walked through Calcutta, saw a dying man, and felt God break her heart. She leaned in and responded. Rick Warren put it perfectly. You were made by God and for God. And until you understand that, life will never make sense. God doesn't just want us to succeed. He wants us to fulfill His calling. Tom Brady said it himself. There's got to be more than this. 7 rings, still empty. Jim Collins said, good is the enemy of great, and success without calling is the enemy of significance. When we start with God's end goal in mind, we save ourselves from a lifetime of detours. John Maxwell said, failing to plan is planning to fail. Vision and purpose. They are the guiding lights that keep us aligned with our true calling. When we understand our vision, we can then map out a purpose-driven life that honors God's plan for us. It's about seeing the bigger picture and moving forward with intention and faith. Oprah was a news anchor before Oprah was Oprah. She got pulled toward real stories, human stories. That wasn't a detour. That was a course correction. Vision from God protects us from distractions. Howard Schultz built Starbucks with a mission: create a third place between home and work. Everyone else wanted to franchise fast. He held the line on vision, not just profit, purpose. Where there is no vision, we perish. Blockbuster didn't die because of one bad decision. They lost vision. Jack Welch said it, create a vision, articulate it, passionately own it, and relentlessly drive it. We can be busy and still be lost. Enron was busy, successful on paper, dead inside. Tim Ferriss said, "Being busy is a form of laziness, lazy thinking and indiscriminate action." Movement without mission is just noise. Our daily decisions must line up with our eternal destination. Abraham Lincoln read by candlelight after long days of physical labor. He was building in the dark for a destiny he hadn't seen yet. Peter Drucker said, "Efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things." Every morning we must ask, "God, where are you leading me today?" Not just, "What do I feel like doing?" Warren Buffett said, "Chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken." Autopilot is dangerous. Feelings change. But calling doesn't. If we don't define success by God's terms, we'll chase the world's version and still feel empty. Tony Robbins said, "Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure." Robin Williams made the world laugh. Det gör subik awakened way hobwins, but was fighting darkness privately. Earthly success can starve the soul if it's disconnected from calling. Success in God's eyes might look very different than success in the world's eyes. Gutenberg died broke, forgotten, but his printing press helped launch the Reformation. Seth Godin said, "Instead of wondering when your next vacation is, set up a life you don't need to escape from." Eternity and fulfillment are deeply intertwined concepts. While the world chases temporary pleasures, true fulfillment comes from aligning our lives with eternal values. It's about finding purpose beyond the here and now and living a life that resonates with the divine plan. Our finish line is eternity, not retirement. Dave Ramsey once said, "Live like no one else now, so later you can live like no one else." Billy Graham kept preaching into his 90s. He wasn't chasing comfort, he was running toward heaven. We don't just ask God to bless our plans, we ask Him to reveal His plans. Henry Ford revolutionized an entire industry because he followed a blueprint that others couldn't see. The difference between building with God and asking Him to bless our hustle? Everything. When we live with the end in mind, daily frustrations lose their power. Jeff Bezos once said, "Be stubborn on vision, flexible on details." When you remember why you started, today's resistance doesn't shake tomorrow's reward. The dream God gave us isn't just about us. It's about the people He's called us to impact. MLK carried a burden, not a brand. The dream cost him everything, but it freed millions. Everything we build should point people back to God, not just to us. Truett Cathy closed Chick-fil-A on Sundays. It wasn't a business strategy, it was worship. He didn't just build stores, he built an altar. Zig Ziglar once said, "You can have everything you want if you help others get what they want. But in the kingdom, we point people not to a product, but to a person." Faithfulness today prepares us for fulfillment tomorrow. John Wooden taught his players to put on socks because small things build great champions. Jesus said, "Well done, good and faithful servant," not successful, not famous, faithful. Our calling is bigger than our career. Steve Jobs got fired from Apple, but said it freed him to find joy in the work again. The Apostle Paul wrote his greatest letters from prison. Calling doesn't come from position, it comes from heaven. Finishing strong is about aligning our lives with a higher purpose. It's about perseverance, faith, and staying true to our calling, no matter the challenges we face. We focus on finishing strong, not just starting fast. Florence Chadwick gave up swimming just half a mile from the shore because the fog kept her from seeing it. 2 months later, she finished. Same conditions, because she kept the shoreline in her mind. Andy Stanley once said, "Direction, not intention, determines destination." Remember, we aren't building lives to impress. We're building lives to fulfill God's purpose. Acts chapter 13, verse 36 says, "David served the purpose of God in his generation and then fell asleep." That's the goal. Not to be admired, not to go viral, but to build what God gave us. And when we do that, when we run our race, stay faithful, and carry vision all the way to the end, we'll hear the only words that matter. Well done, good and faithful servant.